For people who have gone through or are going through cancer, what was the first sign that made you go to the doctor? 1. I was fooling around in a mall as a kid, so my dad grabbed me by the neck to make me behave. He felt a lump on my neck and immediately began to get nervous. We went to the doctor the next day, caught the cancer before it spread, and were able to surgically remove it about a month later. Got super lucky. 2. My sister noticed a small painful lump in her breast shortly after having her second child. Doctor diagnosed a blocked mammary gland. A couple weeks later it still wasn't gone. Again doc said blocked gland. Months later it's still not gone and she insists on getting a second opinion. Stage 3 breast cancer. Double mastectomy immediately followed by months of agonizing radiation and chemo only to find out it's now stage 4. She's been stable for a few years but now it's spreading again and we don't know how long we have with her. Trying to be as positive as possible. 3. Super heavy periods that would last for 10 or more days. Got an IUD to help control bleeding. Actually hemorrhaged so bad the IUD came out. Endometrial cancer. A huge tumor in my uterus. Ladies, it's not normal to need a tampon and pad at the same time. It's not normal to need to change them every 10 minutes or even every hour. An average period is 2 to 3 tablespoons, just for reference. 4. On Christmas Eve 2018, my dad lost the ability to talk except for the phrase "this is crazy." Called paramedics because we thought he'd had a stroke. Got him to the hospital where the imaging showed a brain tumor on the outside edge of his brain. The swelling caused him to have a seizure. He was transferred to a bigger local hospital. They did full body scans because it's pretty rare to just have brain cancer usually. It's a secondary for another cancer site. We got lucky in that it was the sole spot. Went through a craniotomy and 5 rounds of high-dose inpatient chemo, and he's 1 year in remission. 5. My 33-year-old husband was diagnosed with inoperable glioblastoma, most aggressive brain cancer, in January 2019. When he was 31, what caused him to get a check was a persistent headache that didn't go away with paracetamols and sleep. We discovered the tumors after taking an MRI. 6. My head and neck area became very swollen. At first I thought I was just getting fat, so I worked out a lot and ate better. This did not help. I also went to a local clinic and they thought it might be an allergic reaction and gave me steroids, which also didn't help. The thing that finally made me go to the emergency room and not leave until I had an answer is that I started to develop unexplained bruises on my chest. Turns out I had a huge tumor in my chest which had grown around my heart and was compressing the superior vena cava so blood couldn't flow back down from my head. Not great. The good news is that it turned out to be very treatable and I've been cancer-free for 11 years now. 7. Last year, March 2019, I, male, 35, woke up in the morning to go to the toilet. I was urinating pure, thick blood with little lumps in it. So after a severe panic attack, it began to hurt like hell. I was throwing up from the pain. After a day in the hospital and some scans and tests later, they told me to call my parents. So you know you're getting some bad news. It turns out it was kidney cancer. They removed my right kidney. Fortunately, no other treatments were needed, and I'm living the best life right now. If the tumor in my kidney hadn't started to bleed I would have found out much later. Probably too late.